Welcome to our first ever new player PvP. Anyone is welcome on stream to join if you are new to PvP. I want to try to help more new players find matches at their skill level. Today's game, our very first volunteers, we have Tanimayto versus Hollowmations. Tanimayto is playing in yellow, and they are playing Greenfinger, even though they're yellow. Greenfinger is a commander that specializes in the middle game. That means that once all the villages have been captured around that time, you get your groove, and it's very, very powerful. You have a very powerful groove. On the other hand, Hollowmations in black is playing Valder the Fell Lord. Valder is an early game commander who specializes in having a lot of power very early on. Valder can summon a sword super quickly in the game and steal your villages before you even know what's happening. Valder can even get their tier 2 groove in the middle game, meaning they are a very, very good pick against Greenfinger. Hollowmations might be a little bit favored just based on the commander choices, but anything can happen. After all, I just beat a Valder with a Greenfinger last game. Oh, excuse me. Alright, so, both players are opening fairly standard on the map. I don't see anything particularly unusual, but there is one big difference between them. We see that Hollowmations has built their sword, if you can see here, out of the left side of their barracks. It's going to creep around and try to capture this lumber mill. However, Tanimayto did not do that. Tanimayto instead chose to build their sword on the side of their barracks, and is going to capture villages instead. And then built a wagon! Wow! A wagon that they can then use to perhaps secure this or something else. Interesting. I like that strategy. Very cool. Alright, we see that Hollowmations has captured the fortified village. This impressive village is very difficult to defeat, and provides double economy. That's 200 gold every single turn. Hollowmations is looking pretty good, but their commander is trapped in the corner of the map. Most players will actually skip capturing this hideout, because it really slows down your opening. Also, it's good to get your commander into the action as quickly as possible. Hollowmations, being a little slower with their commander, might have a little bit of trouble building groove and being aggressive. I really like this mage build from them, though. That'll be a little bit interesting. I'm not sure what it's going to do. It's probably trying to run across here and grab this lumber mill as quickly as possible. Interestingly, they also chose not to send the sword around to get the lumber mill, but sent it this way instead. Oh, Tanimayto! Tanimayto is using their wagon, rather than capturing this village, they're using their wagon to accelerate the sword forward, and get some very aggressive captures on the map. Look at that, it can now grab any of these villages. That's interesting. It is worth noting that Hollowmations chose not to build out of their barracks this turn. Usually, you want to try to build out of both barracks every single turn if you can, because it increases what we like to call unit count. If you take a look over here, the number of units you have is very important, as even a lowly sword can make a difference between winning or losing a fight. But keep in mind, these are both new players, and they're doing a fantastic job. Alright, so Hollowmations now needs to figure out what they're going to do. They're moving their units forward on this side of the map, trying to capture their villages, and they should be pretty much in time to grab this one. They've gotten this village over here, and this sword looks like it can grab this village. Because, ooh, but they're worried about this one being stolen. So instead, they run their sword over here to try to grab it. They don't want to allow this wagon trick to steal any of their villages. And then we see a harpy coming out from Hollowmations. It's actually kind of okay to skip a barracks if you build out of your tower, though usually you want to try to do both and build with your barracks every single turn. But this very early harpy and the presence of a very early mage means that Hollowmations is planning on a very early aerial domination strategy. They want to have complete aerial dominance early on. It's an interesting strategy. I've never seen anyone go for this, but with an early mage and an early harpy, they have total air control over the right side of the map. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out. We see that Tanimayto has captured the very valuable lumber mill. The lumber mill will actually give you income every turn if you cut down the trees around it. As long as you cut down more than one tree, you'll get an extra 50 gold, so it's technically worth more than a regular village. Awesome! We've got another volunteer for the next game. That's great. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We'd love to have you. Oh, look at that! Tanimayto has stolen their opponent's lumber mill. Really smart. The mage is a good unit, but it is not powerful enough to do 5 damage to a village in a single turn. This means that Tanimayto will be able to monopolize both lumber mills and get tons of economy next turn. Really, really solid play by Tanimayto. I've seen them commenting on my YouTube videos. They might have watched some of my games. This is something that I like to see people do. Or maybe they just discovered it for themselves. I mean, I've never seen this wagon thing before. That's new. I haven't seen wagon stuff since the old Life in 19x19. They're doing some very creative stuff here. All right, we see Hollowmations dive in with the mage. Look at that. Doing big damage to the sword. The commander and the sword are a little bit weak. They might not be able to fight this mage. So hopefully this can secure enough territory so that Valder can come down. And we see Valder finally healing. We talked about that a lot, the importance of healing your commander. Now Valder will be able to join in the fight and grab this lumber mill back. We see the mage the harpy coming in. It's going to try to scare all of this away. And an archer being built for Hollowmations. Once again, though, they didn't build out of this barracks. You really want to try to build out of both barracks every turn. That's important to keep in mind. Kind of an interesting strategy here, building a lot of big units to try to secure this territory. If we take a look at the economy, Hollowmations is, despite their slower playstyle, actually ahead on economy. They're doing really well. However, it's important to notice that being ahead on the economy, it's come at the cost of the lumber mills. And those lumber mills are worth a lot more than your average village. If Tanimayto remembers to grab these, they could earn a lot. Oh! So smart! Look at what Hollowmations did! Look at what they did! They attacked the sword in the forest! This means that Tanimayto will not be able to cut down that tree that turn. Brilliant move by Hollowmations. And the sword is too weak to kill this other sword. And, to make matters even worse, it won't be able to capture this village in a way that it can't be knocked down. Hollowmations has taken control of the left side of the map with some brilliant swordplay. Well done, Hollowmations. Look at that. This lumber mill will only be able to cut down this one tree. And Tanimayto decides to go deep with a pike, sending it far into enemy territory. It might have trouble against that harpy, though. This is a crazy game! I love these plays! Like, the deep pike. This is the fun thing about watching newer players fight. They will do the most creative stuff that you just don't see in, like, a typical game. Alright. Tanimayto, unfortunately, forgot to cut down their trees. So, having the lumber mills is not as much of an advantage if you don't remember to cut down the trees. You've got to remember to cut down your trees. Brilliant move by Hollowmations. They stole a village from their opponent, and their economy is doing great. The harpy comes in to finish off the sword, but there are multiple mages in range of that harpy. That could be a little bit dangerous for the harpy. Mage comes in and gets a crit on Greenfinger, dealing some damage, trying to ward off the commander. Hollowmations being very aggressive, bringing in the archer. This is a very exciting game. This is entertaining. I have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea what's going to happen whatsoever. Hollowmations is thinking, and they have a choice to make. Do they want to use their tier 1 groove? I don't know. I actually don't know. If they use it, it'll give them another sword to play with. But if they don't use it, they could start saving up for their tier 2 groove. It looks like they're going to use it. They've successfully summoned a sword. That is Valder's tier 1 groove. And they're starting to attack the lumber mill. Hollowmations wants that lumber mill back. And they're going to get it back. And they've chosen once again not to build out of their barracks, opting to build out of the tower instead. As long as you're building 2 units a turn, it's actually not that bad. This is kind of interesting. These two newer players might be redefining the meta right now. We might be witnessing the birth of new strategies. Just skip your barracks and build flamingos. Wow. Ooh, Tanimayto, recognizing that they could take the harpy down, assassinated it with their mage. Unfortunately, this means that Tanimayto now has air supremacy. But they remembered to do the lumber mill. They remembered to do the lumber mill. Hopefully they remember the other lumber mill as well. So this is going to give them a lot of money. And with their superior air force, they're the only one with a harpy now. Maybe they can start bullying off that enemy Valder. Because Valder is full health and Valder is coming. Alright, Tanimayto did remember to use both lumber mills this time. That's going to give them a ton of money. Who knows what they could build? We could see a dragon, we could see a golem, we could just see a bunch of units. Alright, looks like Tanimayto threw their pike into this wagon, maybe so the swords couldn't hit it. And they have this aggressive pike, but I don't know what it can do. Oh, and Greenfinger just takes out a mage. Really nice. Really nice. Alright, so, Tanimayto is thinking about what to do next. It looks like they're trying to heal their units, which is good, try to win the fight against this sword that's threatening their territory. They have a lot of gold. I really want to see what they spend it on. A knight. Alright, so they're going to split the gold up between multiple builds. I really like that. I really like that. A knight could be very, very good, because remember, even though they have both lumber mills, Hollowmation has more normal villages, and a knight is a really good unit to take those back. Alright, but what is Tanimayto gonna do? Oh, they just attack! They just attack! Recognizing there wasn't much they could do, they just attack into these swords. It looks like Hollowmations is probably gonna secure this village. But what is Tanimayto gonna build? The pike goes in on this village, but it's gonna take a few turns to wear it down. Can the pike do it before this sword comes in to stop it? I don't know. Another pike is coming out from Tanimayto. Building a lot of pikes can be pretty good. They're very good in the late game. And they build a flamingo. Alright, so Tanimayto has chosen to go for a high unit count strategy. They're trying to build more army than their opponent. Well, it looks like Hollowmation is going for more value strategy. They're trying to build expensive units when they can. Alright, I'm gonna take a break from the hype for a second and just address some things that the players could do a little bit better. For example, dropping the pike over here might have been a little bit of a mistake, because without any backup, the pike couldn't take out any villages, and it's probably going to lose a fight to the less expensive sword. It would probably have been better to use the pike over here and retake this village first. As far as Hollowmations goes, their commander was really delayed by being in the top right corner, and it took a long time for them to get active on the front. They probably should have tried to bring their commander out much sooner and not miss as many builds out of their barracks. However, keep in mind these are 2 new players and they're playing very well. This is a very exciting game, and who knows what could happen. Oh, Hollowmations got the lumber mill back and built a dragon. Double rack skip to build a dragon. They are going all in on big, powerful units. But one thing they don't have is a mage. That early mage they built earlier died. This means Tanimayto will actually be able to scare away the dragon with their harpy, with their mages. It looks like Tanimayto might have the edge in this game. But Greenfinger is still low health. We might see Tanimayto's commander go down if they're not careful. This is anybody's game. This is anybody's game and anything could happen. I like how both players are choosing to build the new Flamingo. It is a very expensive unit, but it has a lot of mobility and can win you fights. Alright, Tanimayto is thinking. They're thinking about what to do. They drop the pike in to support this attack. I've never seen this before. They're actually choosing to attack a deep village in their opponent's territory, rather than a village near their own territory. That's just exciting. That's just hype. Look at this. They're going super deep and backing it up with a mage so they can scare off the dragon. It's like they're like saying, I could take my village back, but I want your village instead. Wow, that is the alpha move right there. Oh, big damage! Tanimayto just dives into the archer with the harpy, and there is not a lot that can be done. The archer was actually the only thing that could even damage the harpy. This is going to give Tanimayto a big advantage in this fight. And Hollowmations is going to have to build a mage or something, or that harpy is just going to dominate the game. Greenfinger finally heals. This is really good, but... Okay, good move. It might cost them the mage, but it'll stop Greenfinger from getting critical hit by this knight. Using the mage to protect your commander is a very good move. You always want to protect your commander when you're being aggressive. We saw a lot of people lose today because they didn't protect their commander when they made an attack. Good move by Tanimayto. Really good move. And we see these swords are kind of positioning to take a village. I like that. That's very good sword play. Very pro-level sword play right there. You sort of want to try to grab villages with your swords if you can. And Tanimayto covers the other commander side as well, being super safe about their commander, building a witch to counter the dragon. Tanimayto has just gained 300 million ELO points in the way that they're playing. This is so good. They're doing all of the right moves. I really like what I'm seeing here. And Greenfinger has their groove! With Greenfinger's groove, which puts vines on the field, very tanky vines, we could easily see a play being made against the enemy HQ, against the enemy commander. We could see something getting trapped by the vines. Oh, the dragon dives in, taking out a pike, and Hollowmation holds on to their village. The swords are like, no, we don't want this mage anywhere near our dragon, and they're sacrificing themselves to weaken the mage and stop it from interfering in this fight. The sword goes down. Hollowmations continues to lose unit count, but they continue to stay ahead on economy. It's important to note that sacrificing units into your opponent's unit will give your opponent groove and not you. Small tidbits. We see Hollowmation come out with a witch, but now they don't have a lot of money to build other land units. The archer hits the mage, doing a little bit of damage, and the knight takes out the village. But all of Hollowmation's units are a little bit vulnerable. Valder captures the village. Oh, but... That's interesting. Valder's positioning kind of defends this knight, because now the enemy knight can't get to it. But is Valder going to be okay? We could see some interesting plays with Greenfinger's groove come out. This dragon is pretty powerful and almost uncontested on the left side of the map, but Valder might be in trouble on the right side. Hollowmations has the economy lead. Like, they really have the economy lead. Look at this. Hollowmations is dominating on the economy. But they're... And unit value. They've got a very powerful dragon. But positionally, they're in a little bit of trouble. Positionally, they don't have anything that can kill this harpy. This is a really asynchronous game. Both players have... asynchronous. I don't know what the word is. They have different benefits. Like, Hollowmations has tons of money and a big, powerful dragon. But their position is a little scary. Meanwhile, Tanimayto has nothing on the left side of the map. They're just getting wrecked by this dragon. But their position on the right is so good. This is anybody's game. This is anybody's game. Asymmetrical. Thank you. Yes, this is a very asymmetrical game. Oh! Sword sacrifice in a commander. Could we be seeing a lethal here? Could Tanimayto be going for a commander lethal? If you're sacrificing a sword fully into a commander, that usually means you're going for a lethal. They could be trying to win the game right now on this turn. Mage sacrifice! This looks like a lethal. This looks like a lethal. Is there enough damage? Can they do it correctly? Is Tanimayto going to take the game right now? If they fail, if Valder survives, this could put Hollowmations in a winning position. Because Tanimayto will have lost a lot of units for nothing. This has to succeed now. This has to succeed. Will Tanimayto be able to pull it off? They go for the sword attack. They go for the sword attack. The knight attack. This could be it. This could be it. Oh, and they do it. The commander lethal happens. Tanimayto, down like 500 gold, takes the game. Well played. Really well played, both of you. Great game, great game.